When you set a positive experience here, you basically set the tone for the whole rest of their journey with you. And that doesn't matter if that's a one-off purchase. They're going to know that this is what they can come to expect, but that they're going to feel that they made the right decision all the way through. You're listening to the Master Your Business podcast, the only show committed to helping professional service providers not only survive, but thrive in the wild west world of business. As always, I'm your host, Deirdre Martin, and today I have an absolute treat for you. So sit back, get comfortable, and get ready to reframe how you view your customer's journey. Now, before I get into the nitty gritty of today's episode, may I please ask for your support? And by support, I mean, would you be so kind as to share this episode with some of your entrepreneurial friends, those who you know care really deeply about their customers? This episode could help them out even more, and spreading the word will benefit everyone because the more subscribers, ratings, and reviews the show has, the more the podcast gods are going to reward me and my team for creating it. And by reward, it just means sharing it with others who will likely benefit from the practical and actionable tips and insights just like you do. So thank you in advance for your support. Now for the nitty gritty. Right, let me start by asking you, have you ever thought about your customer's journey? As in the stages they go through from the moment that they learn about your services to the moment they become loyal clients, or better yet, raving fans or cheerleaders, as I like to call them. Well, let me tell you, understanding this journey, mapping it out, and optimizing each step can be a game changer for your business. It can help you win more business by upselling at certain points along the journey. It can help you save time and resources by creating efficiencies. And it can help you convert a one-off buyer potentially into a loyal repeat client so your business becomes extremely lucrative. Game changing, right? So what I want you to do is just to picture the phases a customer goes through with you, kind of a little bit like checkpoints in a race, each crucial and leading on to the next, but not necessarily in a straight line. So firstly, we have the awareness phase. This is when a prospective customer first discovers your business or realizes that they need a service like yours. And at this stage, your job is to stand out from the crowd, make them aware of your unique offer and your unique brand and service, everything that's unique about you. And basically, during this phase, potential customers, they're researching you, they're getting to know your business and deciding whether to try you out and your services or not. And your goal is pretty much to provide as much helpful, transparent information as possible to assist them in making an informed decision about whether or not they're going to work with you. So you can make it really easy for them to do that by using techniques like content marketing. So basically like social media stuff or blog posts and things like that. Creating a sales funnel with a lead generator, nurturing them via emails. All of those things really help. Search engine optimization, again, something that's really useful. But all of these are the types of places where people are going to all of a sudden become aware of your existence, right? So you need to make it as clear and transparent for them as possible, but be attractive, right? Next, we have the consideration phase. So awareness, then consideration. The customer knows you exist in this phase and they're considering your services. But maybe, you're up there with a few others. And this is where they're asking themselves, why should I trust you? Why should I pick your brand or business or service? What makes you superior? What makes your service superior? And again, your job here is to deliver some seriously compelling reasons and to totally differentiate yourself. And by differentiating yourself, I don't mean trying to make yourself seem better than your competitors, because that's not a goal for any business, or it shouldn't be. I'm talking about being different from your competitors. So rather than comparing apples with apples, like a red apple and a green apple, you're comparing apples with oranges, right? They're totally different things, and determining your uniqueness, whatever that might be. Your ace cards during this phase are things like case studies, customer testimonials, and your unique value proposition, your unique selling proposition, your USP. Okay, then we move into the decision phase. So this is where the customer decides to choose you. Or maybe they're going to choose your competitor, but they're right on the edge and you need to give them a gentle nudge or a loving shove, whatever you want to call it, right? Well, basically, you're offering something like a free trial or a lead generator, something that demonstrates exceptional customer service and showcases your expertise. And those loving shovels or can also be powerful nudges, right? And here's what I want you to consider during this phase. The moment a customer chooses to do business with you, they're admitting that they have a problem and they believe that you can solve the problem that they have. After they've made that purchase, there's often a period of uncertainty or buyer's remorse, right? We've all been there. We bought the thing we shouldn't have. Like, I've got a dress in my wardrobe. I think I bought about 5 years ago and I'm still trying to fit into it. And every time I look at it, I go, one day, but I shouldn't have bought the dress. Like, it was several hundred euro. Moral of the story is, yes, there's a touch of buyer's remorse there, and I still experience it. I'm like guilting myself into trimming down so I fit into it eventually. But then I need somewhere to wear it. Anyway, okay, I digress ever so slightly. Your job here in this decision phase is to affirm to people that their decision was the right one. It's to assure them they've made the best choice possible, and a great way to do this is to help them get value or feel like they're getting value or feel like they get a win, something really quickly that happens very soon after they say yes. And a great way to do that is in the first major interaction they have with your product or service after they've said yes. When you set a positive experience here, you basically set the tone for the whole rest of their journey with you. And that doesn't matter if that's, a one-off purchase the next time round, or if it's a 12-month contract or a 5-year contract. They're going to know that this is what they can come to expect, but that they're going to feel that they made the right decision all the way through. So now that the customer has chosen you, the next phase is retention. Okay. And this is where you keep them coming back for more and more and more. And the idea here for you is that you deliver consistent value, you exceed their expectations, and you build a relationship. And remember, it's easier and more cost effective to retain an existing customer than to go out and try and find a new one. And in this stage of your customer journey, your goal is to help the customer get really familiar with your brand and your business, your processes, and the way you're going to be working together. The idea is to help them feel comfortable and clear on what to expect. And fundamentally, it's about helping them acclimatize to the way that you operate. And during this retention phase, ideally, your customers are achieving the results that they wanted. So when they decided to work with you, they said this was what their goal was, this was what success looked like. And so during this retention phase, they should be well on their way to actually achieving that success. So this stage is actually really critical because if customers don't feel like they've accomplished their goal, they may feel dissatisfied. And your dissatisfied customer is your competitor's ideal client. So when customers are thrilled with the service you've provided, and I'm sure they are, but when they're thrilled with the services you've provided and the results they've achieved, they're going to fully adopt your product or service, meaning they incorporate it into their routine or lifestyle. Which brings us to the last phase of a customer journey, advocacy. This is when your customers become your biggest fans, like complete and utter cheerleaders. They're like, hand me the megaphone. I want to talk about this brand over here. They're going to recommend you to everyone in their network. This is the holy grail of customer loyalty and the result of successful customer journey mapping. But it doesn't happen by accident. You have to nurture it. You have to reward that loyalty and engage with your customers and show them your appreciation. They've got to feel the love, right? They are your ambassadors, so treat them as such. So again, let me recap here. The phases of a typical customer journey are awareness, consideration, decision, retention, and advocacy. But don't be fooled by that linear progression. It's more like a dance than a march. My dancing client would be very happy I'm talking about things like that. But yeah, it is. It's more like a dance than an actual march. Customers can whirl and twirl through these stages, sometimes going back and forth, and sometimes they might even leapfrog particular stages. But it's your job to lead the dance, always guiding them gently to the next step. Now, in terms of customer journeys, there are layers you can consider that make the journeys you create pack an experiential punch, and a punch in a positive way, I mean. And I'm referring to things like empathy mapping. Now, empathy mapping is a really, really powerful tool that helps you understand your customers' needs, desires, and struggles way more deeply. So it's about gaining a deeper emotional understanding of your customer's experience, which can drive more effective, empathetic business decisions. Now, an empathy map is typically divided into 4 quadrants, right? So if you just picture like a square that's split in 4, right? Got a cross in the middle. In the first quadrant, let's say top left-hand side, we've got think and feel. This focuses on what the customer is thinking and feeling. Like, what are their worries? What are their aspirations? You want to understand their emotional state then at different points throughout the customer journey. So basically, this quadrant and all of the 4 quadrants I'm going to explain to you, you should be thinking about these for every stage of the customer journey. So in the second quadrant, top right hand side, this is where you're thinking about the customers in terms of what they say and do. So here we're going to look at the customer's actions and behaviors, like as in what would you likely hear your customer say? Or how does he or she behave in public or in specific situations related to your service? And a question I like to prompt my clients to think about is, what actions are you asking your customer to take? So, like, what are the physical steps or things they have to do? And this is important because the more actions they have to take, the more it feels like you're giving them heavy bowling balls to carry, right? It should be frictionless and seamless and feel easy. So in quadrant 3, so bottom right hand side is C. This represents what the customer sees in their environment. What do they see others saying and doing? What kind of offer, services, or products are they exposed to? So it's what they're looking around and seeing in the world in relation to your business and things like that. And I mean, I've experienced this as a client insofar as that I've been a client of someone and then they've gone out and offered something that looks better and is cheaper than what I've got and what I've paid for. And so, that can cause somebody to become a disgruntled client. Or equally, if you think about it in reverse, I've also been a client of someone where I got a great package and a great deal, and I'm looking at what they've now produced and shown to others. And I'm like, yes, I got in there early. I've got an amazing deal. So it's like thinking about how clients are what they're going to see when you share things in the world and how they're going to perceive them. Okay, so the final quadrant 4, bottom left hand side. Here, this considers what your customer hears. So what are family, friends, colleagues, and influencers saying? What kind of information are they getting and from where or which channels? So if you then look at the 4 quadrants, and in the very center of that, you place your customer. And with their needs and insights from the mapped quadrants, all of those 4, after creating the map, you'll have a much clearer idea of your customer's mindset. And that allows you to tailor your messaging and your services to meet their needs more effectively. So you might be saying, well, I already have my messaging and my services kind of figured out. And that's okay. But looking at an exercise in this way could mean just tweaking your marketing language ever so slightly, or maybe adding new services, or simply changing the way you interact with your customers so that it resonates with them more deeply. Remember, like an empathy map or a journey map, it's not something that's static. It is a living document that should be revisited and revised the more you learn about your customers, because their needs are changing, right? And the market outside is changing. Things are evolving all of the time. And you just need to think back to when COVID hit in 2020, the pandemic. It was huge and caused so much change in so many different ways. But by keeping empathy at the heart of your business strategy, You are going to ensure that your services remain customer focused, they remain relatable, and ultimately more successful. Empathy has been something that, again, during the pandemic really came to the fore in terms of journeys and customer experience overall. And there was a statistic that showed customers who felt that a company demonstrated empathy toward them during the pandemic, they were 60 to 70% more likely to remain loyal to them. Now, I can't remember the exact statistic, but it was somewhere in that region. That's pretty remarkable, right? I mean, again, just to remind you, and I said this already, but like retaining an existing client is much more cost effective. And the statistics around this are about 70%. It's 70% more cost effective and better value for your company and your business if you can retain an existing client than go out and be spending all your time and money marketing, trying to find new ones and win them over and onboard them and bring them through that journey, because that takes time and effort as well, even with the best will in the world and loads of automation. So being empathic in business is not something that comes naturally to all. And because, yes, it does mean bringing feelings into play to a certain extent. And not everyone feels comfortable being vulnerable themselves or addressing feelings with clients. But it 100% makes you more relatable. And it makes it much more likely that you're going to drive loyalty, love, and a lucrative business. Now, you might be thinking, where on earth do you start with all of this? Tell me, what do I do? Okay. Well, if you know me by now, or if you've been listening for a while, I have a tool for everything. I actually do, right? So here are some suggestions for tools to help you do this. You can use an Excel sheet, seriously, Excel or Google Doc, and just put in the different stages and break down what are your touch points. You can use Canva for the empathy map. Or you can actually use a whiteboard on Canva as well if you wanted to create your customer journey in that way. Or for a really guided experience to create your customer journey map, you could use a specialized tool like UXpression or Uxpression. They have templates that are in place to help you design user experiences, look at your different touch points in multi-channel interactions, and set you up to be able to share those journeys online as well. Now, that tool, I've used it quite a lot in my own business and with clients when we've been journey mapping. And I'll share the link. I'm not sure how to quite pronounce the name, but I'll share the link in the show notes so you can check it out and get started for free. Okay, there you have it, folks. We've just journeyed through the customer journey, discovered the magic of empathy mapping, and even delved into some digital tools that can bring it all to life for you. Now, I can almost see the light bulbs switching on above your heads. I hope you're buzzing with ideas, plans, and a renewed understanding of the value in stepping into your customer's shoes and truly understanding their journey with you. Remember, it's not just about the transactions, it's about the interactions and the impact you can make on your customers' lives. So let's recap quickly. Your customers are not just numbers, they're not just sales, they are people. And people have feelings, expectations, and needs. Understanding these emotions and experiences, empathizing with them, and designing your services to meet these needs is what transforms one-time clients into loving, lifelong customers. That, my dear friend, is the secret sauce to a lucrative business. So now, I've got a challenge for you. I'm going to challenge you to map out your customer journey, to empathize with your customers, and to see how it transforms your relationships in your business. And when you do, I would love to hear about it. So connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Let's continue the conversation over there. And as always, if you found today's episode to be of value, please do share it with your entrepreneurial friends who are striving to build more customer-centric businesses. Remember, a rising tide lifts all boats, so let's lift each other up. If you'd like to dive deeper into these topics, remember to check out the show notes for the resources and tools we discussed today. Also, remember to hit subscribe to make sure you never miss out on any of the future episodes of the Master Your Business podcast. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host, reminding you to stay focused, stay driven, and above all, stay brave. Until next time, keep mastering your business.